seriously on Lawyer Lloyd.
Take that tone. You want a little compassion, but you sure don't get none. I smoke and she reads for answers in her magazines. Looks like we're living.
Do you know I was in a car wreck yesterday?
Oh no! Well, are you okay?
Is the insurance gonna give me a rental?
As of this point, we can't commit to anything.
You definitely need a lawyer.
What's his name?
His name is Lloyd Benedict.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm good.
Who are you here to see today?
Lloyd,
first and last
Benedict, Jonnie Parnell.
Okay. I can set you right up in the conference room.
Okay,
You just want to take a seat right there?
sure. Right over there?
Yep.
All right, thank you very
I will go
much.
tell Lloyd you're here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, good morning, Jonnie. Thanks for coming in. Did you find the office okay?
I did. It was pretty simple to find.
Okay. Well, I'm Lloyd Benedict, my paralegal, Brittany.
Hi, nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm good.
She's going to sit here and help us out during the intake and think of questions that I forget to ask.
Okay.
So, we're gonna
We are the attorney's right hand, and that is kind of what we do. We do research, we build the files, we kind of keep track of the clients. They call us, we update their files, and pretty much when there's an issue that arises of any kind, property damage, bodily injury, to something that we see maybe would be red flagged, at that point we would go and consult with the attorney and we would talk to him. He would give us his advice, and it may be research. He may say, okay, well, why don't you call this office and see how we would go about doing this? Maybe securing an evidence tape, or because a lot of places don't want to just give that to you, they want a subpoena for that. But sometimes you can talk to people and that could be different. That's kind of our role. We can't give legal advice. I mean, we are held to the same standard as he is as an attorney. Pretty much if we do something that's against an ethical rule, it falls on him. So there's a form of trust there. He has to trust us, knowing that we know our role and not to overstep our bounds in order to save him from a bar complaint.
And I'm sorry this happened. I hope that things turn out better for you than they have. I think that we'll come up with a plan and be able to move into a direction on this that'll get your life back to normal. Part of the process requires us really to sit down and understand what happened. And once we get the facts on this, then we can start building the case from there, develop a legal strategy, and then pursue the case to a point where you're finally released from a doctor, or we'll get your car taken care of, and we're going to be in contact the whole time and walking you through the process. But there's certain things that we do and certain things that our clients do, and we'll go over that here in just a minute. But really, this is a good time for you to really tell us the version of what happened, the whole story, and try to give us some details so we can work with those details and put that into the equation.
Okay. I was running errands, I think it was July 12th, about 1, 2-ish in the afternoon, and I stopped there at First in Austin and Broken Arrow, and this guy just hit me from behind. It was like an explosion. He just hit my car.
Okay. What kind of car were you driving at the time?
I had a Jeep
Okay.
Cherokee.
Okay. Was there any noticeable damage to the rear of your Jeep?
Oh yeah, it's tore up pretty bad.
Okay. What about the front of the person who hit you, their car?
His car didn't look very good either, but I didn't really take the time to look because I was so upset about the whole thing.
You had your seatbelt on at the time?
I did.
Did the police come out and investigate the accident?
There was a policeman there, yes.
Was there anything that this person did out of the ordinary? Were they intoxicated? Were there any drugs involved? Was there? anything that...
He just wasn't very friendly. I don't know about all that other stuff. I don't know.
Have you talked to his insurance company?
I did.
You have? What insurance company is that?
Allstate Farm.
Okay. And so you've spoken to a claim representative over there? Mm-hmm. Do you know that person's name?
I wrote it down. I think his name was Titus.
Titus?
The adjuster's name was Titus, yeah.
Okay. And did you give them a recorded statement?
I did.
You did, okay. That's...
Yeah, and he really wasn't very helpful or very nice.
We don't
pretty
like it
upsetting.
when there's a recorded statement given because they take control of the case from that point. So one thing we have to do is try to get a copy of that and maybe undo some things. For example, did they ask you if you were injured at the time?
He did.
Okay, and what did you tell them?
Honestly, at the time, I said I felt okay, and I did. I felt okay. You know, I was a little stiff on my neck and my head, but I said I was okay.
Okay, but we know now that's not the case.
No.
Okay. So, but they think you're not
Okay,
injured, right?
yeah,
So,
right.
So what happens when you give a recorded statement? Things change after that are realistic, but if you look on the recorded statement, so there's a way that we can work an answer and a solution into that, and we'll develop that as the case goes on.
Okay.
What's important right now is to, of course, get your car taken care of. Speaking of which, have you selected any kind of body shop that you want to have take a look at your car?
I have a couple people in mind that I was, referred to, so.
Okay, good. And on the phone, you mentioned that you're thinking about seeing a physician. Have you called and scheduled anything with them? Or?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I would encourage you to do that as quick as possible, especially in light of the fact that you've given a recorded statement that said that you really didn't know if you're injured or not. I think that we'd go ahead and validate your injury by actually having a diagnosis at this point.
Okay.
The dealing with the insurance company, you told me you talked to a gentleman named Titus.
Right.
How did that go? Are they wanting to take care of your car, or have they
No, he was
admitted
not
fault?
very helpful at all. They didn't give me any solid answers to make me feel better about the situation, so I felt like I went in a circle. He just basically said, "We'll call you back."
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I tried to ask him, "I don't have a car. I need to go to work," and he just hung up the phone.
I'll take care of that, don't worry.
Britt, can you find out what the situation is and see
Yes.
because she needs a rental car pretty quick, and see if we can get her into a rental as quick as
I
possible.
can most
on
likely
that.
get you a reservation by the end of the day.
Great.
Is this affecting your job in any way?
Well, there's no way I could do my job with my neck hurting the way it is in my back. I have to move a lot of furniture and heavy items, and there's no way I can go to work like this.
Okay. So you are missing work because of this injury?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, that's at some point. After you've missed all the work you are going to miss, we'll need something probably from your employer to be able to back that up, as the specific days that you miss, what your rate of pay is, and that
Okay.
sort of thing. What's going to be really important as well is to have, whenever you see a physician, to see if they're going to take you off work. I know insurance companies like to see that that's a medically supported loss of work.
Okay.
So that's something you might want to talk to your doctor about. There's one thing that I do a little different than some of the law firms out there, is I really focus on the personal side of this case, because pain and suffering is not so much, ouch, I hurt. It's really what you can't do in your daily life. In the meantime, we want to document that. We want to keep track of that, and we want people to talk about that with us later on in form of letters. You'll want to keep a diary yourself as to activities you're having problems with, and be sure to tell the doctor that you're treating with about problems that you're having.
We have a new client packet, and it's got sample average daily life letters, our ADL, which is what he was just talking about. You can write them, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your coworker, people that come and help you do things, anybody that knows you and has been able to witness the changes in your life. It's always very helpful. If you do regularly work out at a gym and you've been missing, you can go and have them print out that your absence, and it can see like it was a pattern and then it stopped. Stuff like that is always very helpful for the insurance company.
ADL is an acronym for average daily life. That is what the person did before the collision versus what they did after the collision. They may have gone bowling or played golf or did some physical activities at work, or they may have had chores at the house. When you're injured, generally there's going to be a disruption in those daily lifestyle activities. We like to obtain evidence to be able to ultimately show the insurance company how the injury has impacted that person. So we get evidence for before the collision and then after the collision, and show them the differences so they can see the domino effect of what's happened in this person's life due to this accident. Brittany, anything else you can think of?
No, I'll go over the new client packet. We do have an app. Are you familiar with smartphones and apps and things?
I use my apps quite a bit. So
We-
do you have an app we
Yes,
can use?
we have an app. You can
Awesome.
just download it, and then it's pretty self-explanatory. You can upload things, and they go directly to Lloyd's email. So it's set up to email him. It's got some information on there. I think it actually has our new client packet on there, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So then you can actually have a look at that. We've got a journal in there, so like he was talking about keeping track of your stuff.
All right, I think that being said, I just really, we've talked about our contract already on the phone. And again, it's a contingency fee contract. You don't pay anything unless I recover on
great.
that. So if you please sign right here,
Okay.
and that'll go ahead and make it official. And then I have a medical authorization. I just need you to sign here, and that'll allow us to be able to speak and obtain documents from your physicians.
Okay.
If anything comes up, any questions, any mail that you receive, or anybody tries to contact you, just tell them you've lawyered up with us. And
Okay.
have them go ahead and contact us with any questions. You won't talk to the insurance company anymore after this, except for maybe your car. I do allow them to go ahead and find out, to be able to talk to you to find out where your car is located at, or any specific questions, because we don't want to be the middleman to slow that process down just to get information. All right, well, I hope you get to feeling better, and I'm sorry this
Me
happened.
too. I feel so much better now. I'm not so lost. So I appreciate all your help, both of you.
Well, we'll come up with a plan, and this thing will straighten itself out as time goes on.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you very much.
And I'll be in touch with you, Jonnie, okay? And I
All right,
love
thank you,
email,
Brittany.
so be checking your inbox, because I
All
like
right.
to email my updates.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What is the most dangerous intersection in Tulsa? Is it Memorial Drive and the Broken Arrow Expressway? Or is it 71st and Mingo? Or is it at 31st and Garnet?
Over 6,337 people are injured in a car crash each day in the United States, and each crash can affect your day-to-day lives from having nothing to drive to severe bodily injury. At Benedict Law Office, we are here to help you through this tragedy and get your life back on track. For over 25 years, Lloyd Benedict has been successfully handling and resolving personal injury cases. If you can't come to the office, we'll meet you, whether it's at your home, office, or by phone. Look us up on our website or call at 918-477-7000.
The most dangerous intersection in Tulsa is Memorial Drive and the Broken Arrow Expressway. It had a total of 121 collisions in 2014. That is nearly a crash every other day.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things we need to take a look at right here, and I think you picked up on a few of them. On the phone, she mentioned that actually the person that hit her took off.
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
But she didn't bring it up, so I thought she must not have just remembered.
Yeah, and I thought we'd just get a copy of the police report and see if there's any kind of indication on that. I think it'd be helpful that we get some kind of boots on the ground and see what's going on with that area right there. It's a residential neighborhood. Speed limit's only 25 in residential neighborhoods. From the damage, it looks like she got hit pretty hard. Yeah. So we may have some excessive speed in that. Any thoughts that you've got?
I'm just glad you touched on the ADL, because one, she gave the recorded statement and said she wasn't hurt, and still, and it hasn't been that long. It's just been, a day or so since she's gotten the accident, but her not going immediately, not having a doctor yet, and having an appointment, that ADL is going to be very important.
All right, so for average daily life evidence, I think we probably need to do a follow-up with her, maybe after things slow down a little bit, start talking to her about how this has disrupted her lifestyle and what kind of evidence is there to be able to support that, and look at her specific circumstances. She mentioned that she's married, she mentioned that she's working, she mentioned she's got some issues where her sister has to come out and help out, so maybe we want to talk to the husband and sister as well on that.
Definitely. We need to get property damage started too.
Yeah, and we need to, if you
During my
can,
investigation, I will.
see if you can get a hold of that adjuster, Titus, from the insurance company. Let me know what he says. At this point right now, until we get the police report, really, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of contingent on that police report, because I don't even have, she didn't have her claim number or anything, and I'm going to need more information before I can call All State Farm.
Okay, we might as well just while we're out there at the scene, might as well grab a police report if it's ready.
Yeah, I'll just go by and pick it up.
Okay.
Just take a check. No worries.
Okay. Call me. Let me know if there's any issues on
Answer
that.
your phone.
I will.
In 2013, the average auto liability claim for property damage was $3,231. The average auto liability claim for bodily injury was $15,443.
Hey, sis.
How are you?
Hi, I'm actually
I've
pretty
already
good.
got your
Pretty good. Sorry, I was running a little late coming from work, but
That's okay.
you will be glad to know Mom at dinner last night did so good.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, she almost cleaned her whole plate up, and she was pretty
didn't
level.
Fight
no
you for
seams.
it. She ate her food, and she remembered who you were, right?
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes. so
Anyway,
it'll-
you owe me $5 for that chai, woman.
next time it'll be on me.
Okay, fine. I'm just
And
saying.
you have her next time too.
Is it
it's
my
your
turn?
It is. So hopefully all will go well.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Did you see that lawyer I recommended?
I did. Lloyd Benedict. He
Yes,
was very
yes.
helpful.
He is wonderful, and I call him Lawyer Lloyd.
Yeah,
It's
well.
just easy to remember. It's just like catchy. What did he do? Did he have you do?
He's having me do a daily journal. Britt, his paralegal, advised that I write down every single
Okay.
thing that happens in my life every day, a daily thing, because you know my pain levels change and you just don't remember those
Yeah,
things.
it's good to have a record of it in case you were to forget.
Just to keep track of what's going on, and you know, it was good advice. So I'm going to try real hard to do that because I know something like that's hard to do every day. But
And you still have some pain, so hopefully you got my message on that chiropractor.
yes, another recommendation of yours. I appreciate that, Dr. Bewley. I've got an appointment to see him because you know my back and my neck are really hurting, so I've got to do something. So I appreciate that advice.
I hope he's as good as Lawyer Lloyd is.
Yeah, well,
Because he was really great for me.
yeah, I think it's going to work out.
Did you get your car deal straightened out?
man,
Any transportation at all?
Yes, I finally got a car thanks to
yay.
Lloyd and Britt. But
Cool.
you know what? Lloyd said, I'm going to handle everything from here on out. So
Good.
I'm not going to worry
Good.
anymore. And I just
Good,
felt
good,
like a big
good.
weight was lifted off of
Good.
me.
Good for Lloyd.
You hit me too hard.
Oh.
Pick on me again.
Oh.
So, anyway, I need to get going because you know,
Oh, okay.
I have to pick up Mom before
Right.
she decides
Well,
to
good
venture
luck,
out on
good
her own
luck.
and thinks she can drive. So anyway.
Well, I'm just going to sit and relax,
Okay.
sip on the coffee for a while.
I'll let
and
you do that because I've got to get going. But thanks for all your
Oh.
advice, sis. I really appreciate you.
See you next time.
All right, give me a hug.
I don't want to hug you too hard.
No, don't mess up my makeup.
Take
See
care.
you later.
True or false? You would be injured from another car crashing into your car that was traveling at a speed of less than 15 miles an hour. The answer is true. A study done by the NHTSA showed that 20% of their test subjects suffered symptoms of neck injuries lasting longer than 1 month where the rear end crash happened at 5 miles an hour.
Over 6,337 people are injured in a car crash each day in the United States, and each crash can affect your day-to-day lives from having nothing to drive to severe bodily injury. At Benedict Law Office, we are here to help you through this tragedy and get your life back on track. For over 25 years, Lloyd Benedict has been successfully handling and resolving personal injury cases. If you can't come to the office, we'll meet you, whether it's at your home, office, or by phone. Look us up on our website or call at 918-477-7000.
The highest price paid for car crashes is in the loss of life. However, according to a 2014 government study, all motor vehicles in the U.S. cost almost $1 trillion per year in losses.
In Jonnie Parnell's situation, our hypothetical client, this series will take you through from the point of her collision to what happens to your average victim in a collision. In essence, when you have a collision, little things will become big things. Anything that changes your lifestyle, anything that, whether it be a temporary situation or a permanent situation, can have impacts that are well beyond what people can even imagine. The things that are the hardest to prove are the damages that you don't see. You get into the terms like pain and suffering and mental anguish and loss of use and the permanency. Those things are not as objective. And so what the lawyers do in these cases, we take the damages and we start building a case. As a lawyer, part of our jobs is not just being the legal advocate and using a scientifically based approach on that, but there's also an art with it. So I always talk about law is mostly an art, like the potter's wheel, like taking a blob of clay and shaping on the potter's wheel and presenting that in a masterpiece form under the best craftsmanship I can to the insurance company to say, this is my client's case. Look at it. It has this value to it. It's pristine. You can understand it. It's reasonable. This is the value of this case. What would we like to resolve this for? And of course, I have, as a lawyer, start the process off. We're going to negotiate. They want to save money. They want to offer as little as possible, and I'm trying to recover as much as I can from my clients. That's just the nature of damages. There's a difference of opinion. What's a case worth? Ultimately, a case is worth whatever a jury places a value on it. They may place a high value, they may place a low value, they may place no value on it, but ultimately the case is worth whatever a jury thinks it's worth. Realistically though, a very small percentage of cases actually go to trial. The lawyer's true job is not being a trial lawyer. That's what defense attorneys do. The plaintiff's lawyer, which is what I do, is to resolve the case, to try to avoid at all costs going to court, because we don't know what 12 jurors are going to do. It's hard to predict. We can use our experience, but when you really think about it, a very, very, very small percentage of cases actually go before the jury to have it adjudicated to a jury verdict. The vast majority of them are settled somewhere along the case. Earlier on, after a person's been released, or on the courthouse steps. Sometimes before a jury even comes back deliberating. There's generally a settlement process that takes place. We do that to reduce the risk for our clients. The old, a bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush, and there's a lot of truth to that. I don't really feel good when clients do not get something that I consider to be a fair result from the courthouse. We see a better and more fair result and actually have some control of the situation when we're able to negotiate, be able to keep it among ourselves between us and the responsible insurance companies, and then we sit down and look at what our possibilities are to be able to place a certain amount of damages towards our client to get a settlement, an out-of-court settlement, a fair settlement. And that only happens because we were able to shape that case on that potter's wheel and present it to them the way it was supposed to be told, that story unique to that client, and sold and presented to them and resolved. And the peace of mind that comes with that is immeasurable. When a client's finally resolved their case and finally realize it's over and they feel that that's a fair resolution on it and understand everything. The communication was key to get the clients from the point of a disarray of the initial trauma of the collision to the case being resolved and settled, and they can reflect and see that they made informed decisions based on good legal advice, good sound legal advice, but they control it the whole time. They could have said no to my recommendations of settling. They said, Lloyd, I want to go to court. Or I may say, I want to go to court, and the clients may say, no, I don't want to go to court. I work for the client. The client is my employer. They're hiring me to advocate their case as a legal expert through the whole process. I work for them at all stages of the case.
My words don't mean anything.